tonight on the Final Play.
Outstanding job by Alvin Kamara.
The Saints slipped past Seattle with a total team effort, headlined by the Herculean effort from Alvin Kamara. We'll have reaction from the team and analysis from Deuce McAllister. Plus, the Green Wave kicked off the big play weekend with Jalen McCleskey's dramatic touchdown catch. The St. Paul's product joins us in studio as we recap a weekend full of wins for our local teams.
From Fox 8 Sports, this is the Final Play, sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealers, built Ford tough, and by Ron Austin Law.
Welcome into the Final Play. I'm Juan Kincaid. Life without Drew Brees began today as the Saints went into the Emerald City to face the Seattle Seahawks. With Brees out, Sean Payton turned to his backups, Teddy Bridgewater and Taysom Hill, to share the offensive load at quarterback. And today, it worked. Sean Vazan gets us started tonight.
In their first game in this extended stretch without quarterback Drew Brees, the Saints played a complimentary football game here in Seattle. All phases, offense, defense, and special teams played a pivotal role. And now they head back to New Orleans 2-1 after a 33-27 win.
Obviously, a good win for us on the road against a real good football team. I thought we did a lot of things well. I thought we played in a different way, but a pretty complete game.
Special teams struck first when Deontay Harris validated his head coach's faith in him and took the first punt of the game to the house. The defense hit next in the second quarter when Eli Apple made a heads-up play to strip Chris Carson. Von Bell was Johnny on the spot with the recovery and ran it in for the score.
I seen it. I was like, man, this is a good strip right here. It's the punch out that we work on. So he wanted to get on the takeaway film that we have every end of the week. So he did. He made it.
If you statistically looked and said you're going to return a punt for a touchdown and score defensively, you're going to be probably a 90-some% winner when you do that, and those are big plays.
Those points proved pivotal. The offense started slow as an electric crowd wreaked havoc early, and the Saints committed several momentum-killing penalties. Still, Teddy Bridgewater weathered the storm and got things going on the final drive of the first half when he threw a screen pass to Alvin Kamara, who followed his blockers into the end zone to give the Saints a 27 lead.
It was just set up perfect. Perfect timing by Teddy. Larry and Ram did what they had to do on the edge, and Ted got a great block. He was able to get in there and broke a tackle, and it's a big score before half. We get the ball when we come out, and, it's just great to have that splash play.
That was only part of Kamara's phenomenal day. He finished with 25 touches and 2 touchdowns. His second came in the fourth quarter that essentially put the game out of reach. As for Bridgewater, this was his first victory as the starting quarterback since 2015. And number 5 was mindful after the game of the long road back to getting on the field and winning.
So I was just thinking about the process from the time I was injured up until now, and just thinking about all the ones who believed in me, and just being back on this stage and getting to show how faithful God is. All my emotions were just running at the same time.
I was proud of the way he played. He's someone, if you really follow his career, he's kind of won wherever he's been, at a young age in Minnesota.
This is the first time the Saints have won a game without Drew Brees since he arrived here. They knew the task was going to be tough, but being in Seattle all week helped this team focus on the job at hand, and they felt as confident as ever heading in.
Yes, go in! Yes, go in! Stacks on three, 1, 2, 3.
Our families weren't here. They may have came at the end of the week, but just towards the earlier part of the week, we had a lot of time to just, bond with each other. Then when you went out to the practice field, you just saw that look in everyone's eyes that, man, we want to get back to winning.
We knew everybody had to step up. Roles changed. Guys really just had to step up and lead more. Me, Mike, Ted, everybody. So I think like a leader like Drew, his presence is missed, but you got to just step up and fill the shoes.
Joined now by Saints Hall of Famer and Fox 8 Saints analyst Deuce McAllister. Deuce, why don't we start with you felt it all week. They talked about it today in the locker room. The focus and sort of the rallying, rising to the occasion with Drew out here today. You know, a hostile environment. They handled the elements well. It just felt like from a mental standpoint, they were dialed in.
Well, they were definitely dialed in, and I think everybody knew that they had to raise the state of play as far as, okay, I don't want to do too much, but I know I have to play better than I normally would. And so, you know, I think that's probably a good thing. In a sense, you're on edge because not to say that you have to play perfect, but you have to play really well, and they were able to come out here and do so. And they put a lot of pressure on the Seahawks to say, no, this will not be an easy win with scoring on a punt and with scoring on a return as far as defensively. That's a lot of pressure. I mean, the defense, Seattle's defense, they're not involved in any of that. Yeah. You know, and so they have to be, well, we got to stop them now, almost like we would have to stop them with Drew. I mean, because they're scoring in ways that we can't necessarily do. I mean, because there's a lot of things that they can clean up in all phases. I mean, you missed the extra point. That's something you can fuss about. You know, you look at the return game. There's a fumble in the return as far as that's concerned. You go to defense. There was a couple calls. Even when they're spying Russell Wilson, I mean, I think Russell had over 400-yard passing. Now, I understand some of that was garbage yards. There's a lot that you can still clean up and still be impressed with the victory that you had today.
Overall, look, Teddy Bridgewater was a huge storyline going in. I thought he was what they needed him to be today. Managed the game well. Wasn't spectacular, but made some solid throws. And I thought most importantly, he avoided turnovers. And I think with the way they were playing today, that was key.
Well, it was key for them not to turn the ball over. And I thought that he had really good confidence throughout the game. You know, there was a couple throws where if he's able to set his feet, maybe the ball doesn't sell on him a couple times. And then there was a couple throws where he would probably go to his first option, second option, and then just stay there. If he's able to get to the back, the third option, maybe a bigger play, even down here on the goal line. You know, Michael Thomas, the read was to the right. It was covered. Michael Thomas comes open late. He doesn't see it. He's moving. You know, just little things. Right. But that's going to come with reps. But I thought that he played well enough. And, you know, even if that's how he has to play, you're comfortable as an offense because it gets loud out here. Yeah. And so, you know, whether it's the holding, whether it's the pre-snaps, that's not how it's normally going to be on the road, and it definitely won't be that way at home next week. And
it didn't take him long to find number 41. We talked about it before the game. He was going to be crucial in this game, and he was probably even more important to this game than maybe we even thought going into this. I mean, he had, 25 touches, 15 rushes, or 16 rushes, 9 catches, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he would not go down. 41 was phenomenal today.
5'10", 215. Yeah. And he runs like he's 6'3", 240. And, I mean, his ability to break tackles, his ability to be able to keep his balance, I mean, it's just outstanding. And, you know, in the screen game, we know he's as a receiver, he's a dangerous player. And so, you know, the one player that I'm looking is Jared Cook. You know, get Jared going. I know there was a back shoulder throw. That ball, if it's raised up a little bit, that's a tough catch. You know, turn around behind you a little bit. If you can get Jared going, then that offense can really explode. You know, I don't want to say regardless of who's the quarterback, but I think it'll really explode and not put so much pressure on Alvin or Mike.
I think Saints fans were curious, okay, what's it going to look like without Breeze? How do they win? And I think this was the ideal version. Without Breeze, you're going to play some defense, you're going to play some special teams, you're going to play some ball control. Teddy's going to, you know, kind of pick his spots. I think that's the formula without Breeze for right now.
Well, the only other thing left is to take a shot. Okay. You know what I mean? A deep shot. And, you know, you've got to give him time for that. And then for Teddy, he has to understand and feel even, you know, hey, look, I got to get rid of the ball on certain plays. And so that's a formula that you see. That's how they knew that they had to play this team. But, you know, I think it's still more on that bone for them to be able to go and get.
And I guess last question here. There was anxiety in the fan base. Like we said earlier, they were loose in the locker room because I think they kind of digested it well and handled it well. But just how important is this win? Because if you would have lost this week and play a Dallas team next week, a very good football team, that would have been tough, but they get this win. How important was getting to 2-1 this week?
It was definitely important for them, but I think it was important just for confidence, you know, confidence, and not necessarily in any standing, any race or anything of that nature, but confidence for a team that, you know, this team still has aspiration to not only be in the playoffs, but be able to advance to the Super Bowl. So just to get that confidence going for him, I think was important. And now I can guarantee you Sean is going to play it over and over. That Dallas team beat you. That Dallas team was more physical than you. And so, yeah, they'll enjoy this win. But that one next Sunday night, they definitely won't.
That is going to be fun next week inside the Superdome. Deuce, we get to go home. We get to leave Seattle and head to New Orleans. Back to you.
Much more from Deuce McAllister will come your way tomorrow, beginning at 8 a.m. with his Black and Gold Rewind. Then at 5, it's his 2-minute drill. And tomorrow night, Deuce McAllister and Sean Vazan will join me on set for the Black and Gold Review Show. So now it's the time to get your questions in using the Final Word feature on the Final Play app. And tune in tomorrow night at 10:35. We'll have much more from the Saints in Seattle on the other side of this break as Chris Hagan shines the spotlight on Teddy Bridgewater, who not only held back his emotions, but also held the line against the Seahawks.
You're watching the Final Play.
For the first time since Sean Payton's been here, the biggest mystery for the Saints in Seattle was quarterback play. With Drew Brees out and Teddy Bridgewater in, could the Saints offense do enough to get a win today? The answer was yes, and Bridgewater's play was a big reason why. Here's Chris Hagan.
The starting quarterback is often the face of the team, but that doesn't mean he is the team. That was clear early and often with this version of the Saints offense we saw in Seattle. It was a perfect example of how well the roster is built, that they could dominate a game from start to finish in one of the league's toughest stadiums to play in. The theme of the day, taking the weight of the offense off Teddy Bridgewater's shoulders.
That just goes back to me being me and just playing the game the way that I know how to play it. And that's just getting the ball to the playmakers outside and allowing those guys to make plays, and we were able to do that today.
Even on the first offensive drive, where the Saints were forced to punt, it started in a positive and effective manner. A simple play-action rollout and pass to Josh Hill, followed by a quick pass in the flat to Alvin Kamara. It set up a manageable 3rd and 3 that eventually became 3rd and 13 because of the same penalties that hurt them last week against the Rams. However, once the yellow flags were out of the equation, it became much simpler to move the ball. On their 2-minute touchdown drive before halftime, Bridgewater and the Saints executed exactly what they wanted without asking their quarterback to step out. Short left to Ted Ginn Jr. on 1st down. Then on 3rd and 5, one of the safest throws in football, a quick slant to Michael Thomas in man coverage. That's followed by a nice throw on the run to an open Jared Cook. Then a check down to Alvin Kamara on 2nd and 3 that goes for a 1st down. The exact type of play that works when penalties aren't a factor and you're playing in short yardage situations. But it's the touchdown pass that sums up the day perfectly. On the box score, it reads 29 yards from Bridgewater to Kamara. But in reality, it was almost all number 41. That drive turned out to be a turning point for the offense.
It just took for me to realize that, man, I have one of the best wide receivers in the NFL out here, and I get to throw the ball to him whenever I feel like it. And just use your guys. You watch Alvin make plays all day. You watch Mike when you throw it to him, it's a for sure catch. So in that moment, we knew that if we can convert right there and get Mike going, we knew that we could get after those guys.
From there, they picked up where they left off on the first sequence of the 3rd quarter. A methodic 12-play, 75-yard drive that ate up more than 7 minutes. Bridgewater was efficient once again, going 6 for 7 for 71 yards with the screen to Michael Thomas to get into the end zone. All the while, remembering the message he received from Drew Brees.
Completions are good, and that's my mindset when I'm and the rest take care of itself.
I've been saying it all week. He's a leader. And, I mean, he has stripes in this league. He's done it before. He's been a starting quarterback in this league. He's performed. So, I mean, it's his opportunity. He stepped up. It was next man up mentality, and he did what he had to do.
And all he had to do was be himself, something Bridgewater says his coaches, teammates, and family have encouraged all along. Reporting on the Saints, I'm Chris Hagan for the Final Play.
Up next, scoreboard operators were busy in Week 4 of college football. Will crisscross the toe of Southeast Louisiana when the Final Play continues.
You're watching the Final Play.
We welcome you back into the Final Play with good news on LSU receiver Terrence Marshall, who fractured his foot in Saturday's game against Vanderbilt. Marshall underwent surgery and tweeted this morning that his surgery went well. He also said he's good and will be back soon. According to Sports Illustrated, Marshall will miss a few weeks of play. The Tigers have next weekend off, which will help him in the recovery. But does Ed Ogeron's team need or even want next weekend off? Based on how the Tigers have begun the season. They may just want to keep on going and going. Yesterday at Vanderbilt, the offense continued to put up big numbers in their 66-38 win. Burrow continued to put up record numbers throwing the ball. Burrow broke a school record with 6 touchdown passes, while wide receiver Jamar Chase became the 3rd LSU player ever with 4 touchdown catches in one game. LSU, as a result, set a new SEC mark for points scored in the first 4 games of the season, 231 total. And their head coach believes there's more of that to come.
I think that there's more to come. I really do. I think that Joe is a fantastic player. He has a fantastic coach in Steve Ensminger. We have a great plan. And as long as we can protect the quarterback, we're going to make big plays here at LSU, and I expect that.
They told me when it happened. I was more focused on going to get another one. We didn't get any after that. So there were a lot of good things, a lot of bad things today, but I was happy with it.
Wow. Well, I said on the headset, I said, it's called recruiting. We knew Jamar was an excellent player. He was committed to Florida. We fought. I got to give Mickey Joseph the credit. Mickey went down there and fought and had a great relationship with his parents. We felt that Jamar could be that type of player. And what did they have?
Yeah, he was all right today, wasn't he? Yeah, that's one of the better performances I've seen. Nobody could cover him all day, and he was getting open on just about every play. So I was happy for him to have that kind of game.
And for all the latest news and analysis on the Tigers, download the Tiger Huddle app. You'll also see videos and live stream. And while you're there, the Tiger Huddle app will let you send us a question that we will answer on the air. No change to this week's AP Top 6 poll. Clemson 1, Alabama 2, Georgia at number 3 there. The Tigers 4-0 at number 4. Ohio State and Oklahoma round out the top 6. After that, it's Auburn 7th, Florida up to number 9, Central Florida 3-1, they're 22nd. Texas A&M after their loss, they're now 23rd. And the Tulane Green Wave got 1 vote from the AP voters after Thursday night's big win against Houston. Speaking of which, what a finish in Yulman Stadium Thursday night with the Wave rallying from 21 points down to beat the Cougars. And what a game-winning throw from Justin McMillan to Jalen McCleskey between 2 defenders, and McCleskey did the rest. A 53-yard score to seal the deal in their 38-31 win. 24 hours later, McCleskey stopped by our studios to talk about the big win with Chris Hagan.
We're now very happy to be joined by one of the big men on campus. Tulane senior wide receiver Jalen McCleskey made the game-winning catch to beat Houston on Thursday night. Jalen, can you even put that play into words, just the catch and the run after it, when you guys thought you were just setting up for a field goal?
Yeah, the plan was we had a timeout left, just try to get the ball in field goal range. And so if you couldn't score, you just had to get down because we didn't have that much time left on the clock. And so when I caught the ball, I knew I was probably going to get hit. So I just tried to hold on to the ball, make sure I held on to the ball, and then when I shrugged off the first tackle and I saw nothing but open grass, I just opened it up.
At that point, did you even think, I might be running out of time, I just got to score, or what was going through your head, just get to the end zone? Oh, yeah, the whole time just get to the end zone. Nothing else was really on my mind, just get the W and let's get on out of here. A factor in that had to be the fact in that second half. No need to go to overtime and you could take the fight to them. Could you guys feel that on offense, that you were really starting to have your way, really every drive down the field in that second half? Yeah, we killed ourselves a lot with penalties in the first half, so we just went into halftime. We were like, we can move the ball on their defense, and we just had to stop the penalties, stop the false starts and things like that. So when we went back out there and we were able to move the ball, we were able to play fast, and Coach Hall loves playing fast, so we were able to pick the tempo up, and I think that really gassed their defense. No, it's usually a 24-hour rule, but you said it. You've got the bye week. Do you get to enjoy this one a little bit longer? Yeah, a little bit longer, but not too much longer. We're going to start watching film on Army. I know the coaches probably already started getting the game plan together, but they're a really good team, so you always have to come prepared with them. They do what they do, and they're going to do it well. So just watching film and being ready. Receiver Jalen McCleskey just getting started at Tulane. Looking forward to a lot more things to come. Jalen, thanks for joining us. Yes, sir. Thank you.
In the Southland Conference, Southeastern got back to their winning ways, but they needed a big third quarter against Lamar to win their conference opener. Chason Virgil, the quarterback, had the hot arm. 307 yards passing, 4 scores as the Lions beat the Cardinals 45-34. And it's back-to-back wins for the Nichols Colonels as they continue their 4-game road trip to start the season with a win against Stephen F. Austin 48-30. The Colonels scored on 5 of their first 6 drives of the game, and running back Julian Gums chewed up some yards. 172 total and 3 scores for the Colonels, who are now 2-1 on the season. So here's what's what next weekend as both LSU and Tulane have the weekend off. The Colonels and Lions will both be on the road. Nichols at Texas State, while Southeastern heads to Northwestern State. Up next on the Final Play, we'll give the kids a chance to show off our prep play of the week and a look back at last night's rematch between Carr and Easton.
Watching the Final Play.
Our play of the week you've seen before on the program tonight. It was just that good of a catch by Jalen McCleskey. Final seconds of Tulane's upset of the Houston Cougars. The St. Paul's High School product with the nice concentration and the solid balance, and the Jets to get into the end zone for the game-winning score. And our play of the week. Let's take a look back at last night's Carr-Easton game, a rematch of last year's 4A championship game. Carr, Easton playing at Pan Am Stadium. Eagles' Deshaun Holmes on the keeper, 39 yards to the score, 6-0 Warren Easton. They weren't done. Back to the ground game. Ashad Clayton shot out of a cannon. He is gone. Nobody's going to catch him. 59-yard score. But Carr got on the comeback trail and came all the way back. Leonard Kelly goes deep. The connection with Destin Payson. And that would lead to a Leonte Richardson touchdown run. Carr down just 12-6. They would strike again. Kevin Maroney, 2-yard touchdown run, a 14-12 Cougars lead. They roll on after that, winning at 38-12. And here are our Player of the Week nominees. Country Day quarterback Justin Ibieta, 6 touchdown passes and a win over Episcopal of Baton Rouge. Carr quarterback Leonard Kelly with 2 touchdown throws. He also ran one in for a score in their win over Easton. Newman QB Arch Manning, how about his day? 5 touchdowns with their win over. Head to fox5.com. Voting begins tomorrow, and it closes on Wednesday. And that's our show for tonight. For all of us here at Fox 8, I'm Juan Kincaid. We hope you'll join us again next Sunday night for the Final Play.
From Fox 8 Sports, this has been the Final Play, sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealers, built Ford tough.